Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending our presentation today. It's so great to see many of you here with us. My name is Erica, and I'll be your host tonight. Today, we'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenape-Wak, and Attawaddaran peoples whose traditional lands we are gathered upon today. Today, we're going to talk about your future and how you can make that happen by applying to Western. We're here today to talk about applying to Western as a 101 applicant. So let's start by getting a better understanding of what that means. In order to apply to Western, you have to submit an application to the Ontario University's Application Centre, the OUAC for short. The OUAC divides applicants into a few categories. For undergraduate programs, there are 101 applicants and 105 applicants. The 101 applicant category is for anyone who is currently studying in an Ontario high school. The 105 applicant category is for anyone that is not. Today, we're focusing on 101 applicants. Here are the requirements to be considered a 101 applicant, and you must meet all of them. You are taking courses during the day at an Ontario high school. You have not, at any point, been out of high school for more than 7 consecutive months. You have received or you expect to receive your Ontario Secondary School Diploma, the OSSD, with 6 4U or M level courses at the end of the current school year. You have not attended a post-secondary institution like a college or a university, and you are applying to a first year of an undergraduate degree program or diploma program at an Ontario university, and finally, you are under the age of 21 years old. If you answered no to any of these, then you're actually a 105 applicant, and that is totally okay. But you will want to watch our other presentation instead. You can find the dates and times for the 105 applying presentation in the same place you found this one, at welcome.uwo.ca/presentations. Now that we understand the 101 applicant category, let's get started on the application process. These are the steps I'm going to take you through today: preparing to apply, how to apply, after you apply, and after you receive an offer. The first step is preparing to apply, and that's likely the stage that you're at today. When you're preparing to apply, it's important to review your admission requirements. You can find all the admission requirements easily on our website at welcome.uwo.ca/requirements. As a 101 applicant, you will choose Canadian, under high school, and then Ontario. On this page, you'll see what we're looking for from you in order to make up your final admission average. That is 6 grade 12 U or M level courses, excluding co-op. One of those 6 courses must be ENG for you. And there may be some prerequisites for your program as well. This button takes you to a PDF that gives you more information about the prerequisites for your program and a guideline for averages. Let's take a look. First, you'll see the name of the program, then the OUAC code, and then there are 2 important columns. The first is requirements. If a course is required, it means you must take this course by the end of June. So for example, with arts and humanities, there is ENG for you, and that's it, which, as you know, is required for every single program. But then for engineering, there are 5 courses that are required that you must complete by the end of June. That's it for required courses. Now let's take a look at the next column. So when you look at the chart, beside course requirements is a column with other requirements and course recommendations. Some programs require something extra, and you'll find that here. You'll also find our recommended courses. So let's take a look at these for a moment for medical science as our example. It is strongly recommended that you take grade 12 physics for medical sciences. You don't have to. You can still be admitted to medical sciences without taking it, but Grade 12 physics will help you with your first year physics courses, as every student in medical science is required to take first year physics. So, what happens if you don't take grade 12 physics? Well, you can still get an offer and you can still take first year physics in university as long as you have grade 11 physics. And what happens if you take grade 12 physics, but you don't do super well in it? If you have other grade 12 U or M level courses that you did better in, we can use those courses in your admission average instead of physics. So let's recap. Grade 12 physics is recommended. It's a great idea to take it, but it does not have to be used in your admission average, as long as you have other grade 12 U or M level courses that we can use instead. When you look at social science, there are several recommendations for different programs. Be sure to review this column carefully. Alrighty, final column to look at, and that is the mid-year average guideline. When you look at the chart, you're going to find the mid-year average guideline in the final column. Now, what does this mean? This average is a good number for you to aim for, a good personal goal to have. It is a guideline, but not a guarantee. When this number tells you is that the students who receive an offer to these programs from last year had averages that were in or above these ranges. But this year that could change. It's based off of how brilliant you guys all are. Every program at Western is competitive, and we can only take a certain number of students per program. That's all we have room for in our classes with our professors. You can actually see the number of first-year students we take for a program in this chart. It's right underneath the name of the program. So, what causes averages to go up? Sometimes we see a big increase in applications to one program. If everyone wants to go into the same program one year, it becomes even more competitive. So, here's what to keep in mind. Use this column as a guideline, and always work as hard as you can to get your grades up for both admissions and scholarship eligibility. And know that averages falling in these ranges are not guaranteed admission. Okay, so that was a lot of information about your admission average, which is a very important part of your admission to Western. For some of you, you may need to also provide proof of English language proficiency. If your first language is not English, you'll be required to provide proof of your English language proficiency after you apply. We accept several tests, and you can find all the scores on our website. We encourage you to write a test at the earliest possible date and at the latest before March 2021. Tests completed before January 1st of 2019 will not be accepted. For some programs at Western, admission is determined by grades and possibly English language proficiency. That means that many of you won't have to fill out any additional essays or applications or profiles. However, at Western, there are only a few programs that do require something extra. If you are looking at applying for the Bachelor of Fine Arts Studio, Commercial Aviation Management, Ivy Business, Music, Nursing, Scholars Electives, the School for Advanced Studies in the Arts and Humanities, or Western Integrated Science, you'll need to complete an additional application, profile, test, or audition. For engineering, this is optional. These all have their own deadlines. It's important you pay close attention to when they're due. One of the reasons we always recommend you apply early is to make sure you have enough time to complete these supplemental items before they're due. Besides these applications and forms for certain programs, we also have 2 optional supplemental forms. Now, these forms are not for everyone. They're for students who fear that their admission average is not representative of their true academic potential. So perhaps you are an exceptional athlete and many hours of time that you spent out on the field or have taken away from your schoolwork, or you've devoted as much time as you can into an organization in the community to help others. If you have extraordinary extracurricular commitments, then the extraordinary extracurricular activities and contributions to citizenship profile might be a good one for you to fill out. The other profile is for students whose backgrounds or experiences have affected their grades. Perhaps you have had to help financially help your family, or you've experienced a loss or illness, or you haven't had the same opportunities as your peers. We hope that this doesn't happen to you. But if it does, then the special consideration profile is here to give you a bit more insight and to help us give us a bit more insight, really, for your academic potential beyond your grades. So let's recap that large preparing to apply stage. You'll review the admission requirements. You'll check out the English language proficiency requirement, and you'll see if there are supplemental forms for your program. Now it's time to apply. How do you do that? Well, you'll apply by going to ouac.on.ca. This is the Ontario University's Application Center. When you go to the OUAC, you'll create a 101 applicant account. In order to do this, you will need your PIN. In October or November, your high school will give you your PIN. If you're not sure how you're getting it, please reach out to your guidance counselor. When you're ready to apply, you can choose up to 3 faculties or direct entry programs at Western. If you're not familiar with how the programs work at Western, don't worry. We're going to go through that together now. At Western, we have hundreds of programs, and they each fall underneath a faculty. On the screen, you'll see the names of the faculties in bold different colors. You'll see the Faculty of Arts and Humanities, the Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Health Sciences, Faculty of Information and Media Studies, the Faculty of Music, the Faculty of Science, and the Faculty of Social Science. At Western, you often apply to the faculty. Those are the titles with the stars beside them. Then, within some of these faculties, there are direct entry programs. In Arts and Humanities, there is Fine Arts Studio. In Health Sciences, there's Kinesiology and Nursing. In Music, there is the Bachelor of Music, the Bachelor of Arts, and the Bachelor of Music Administrative Studies. In Science, there is the Bachelor of Medical Science and Foods and Nutrition. And finally, in Social Science, there is DAN Management and Organizational Studies and Commercial Aviation Management. So, at Western, you can apply to one of the titles with the stars beside them, either a faculty or a direct entry program. You don't apply to the major that you want, just the faculty or the direct entry program. Let's go over an example. Let's say you're looking at the Faculty of Social Science, and you're thinking about either psychology or sociology. These programs are both in the Faculty of Social Science. So, when you apply to Western, you'll apply to the Faculty of Social Science. Your first year will be a common first year, and you can try both psychology and sociology. You can try out courses for a few different programs in first year, and then decide which ones you want to do towards your degree. You can also try out courses for programs in your faculty, like I'm showing here, but also in other faculties. So, let's say you're interested in psychology and sociology in social science, but how about also biology in science? The common first year will allow you to try out all of them. If you're interested in programs in more than one faculty, in this case, social science and science, we recommend you apply to both. For this example, science and social science sometimes have different admission requirements. You could start in either one or try out both programs. With that said, some faculties and programs are more flexible than others. If you are interested in programs in more than one faculty, you can always reach out to us and we can recommend pathways to combine the modules you're interested in. Okay, so let's recap. If you are interested in more than one program in the same faculty, you only have to apply one time to that faculty. And if you're interested in more than one program in different faculties, you'll likely want to apply to all the faculties and reach out to us for additional guidance and information. These are the faculties and programs you will see when you apply on the OUAC website. Each one of these has a unique OUAC code. That means it's a different choice. You can apply to 1, 2, or 3 choices at Western. For example, you can apply to health sciences, medical sciences, and science. Those are 3 choices and they all have their own unique codes. When you apply on the OUAC, you may also have some extra choices. For some programs, you'll need to choose if you're interested in applying for the Ivy Advanced Entry Opportunity or for Scholars Electives. Both of these require supplementary applications that you will have to do separately outside of the OUAC. Checking yes here is only indicating your interest and does not count as your supplementary application. Okay, now there are 3 important things to consider when you're applying. Western does not give out alternative offers. We will not make you an offer to a faculty or direct entry program that you did not actually end up applying to. If you really want to do medical science, but you want science to be a backup option, you should apply to both. If you don't meet the requirements for a program and you only applied to that program, that's it. No alternative offers. The next thing that is important to remember is that on your OUAC application, you'll be asked to choose a subject of major interest. This does not mean you're applying to the major. As we went over, you're applying to a faculty or direct entry program. You will have a common first year before you choose your major. So, why do you have to fill this out for Western? We use the subject of major interest for planning and statistics, and also in some cases to send you information specific to that subject area. And finally, pay close attention to the campus you are applying to. At Western, we have main campus and 3 affiliated university colleges, Brescia, Huron, and King's. Some programs are offered at more than 1 campus. When you apply, you'll need to double check that you are applying to main campus, if that's the campus you want. You can apply for the same program at more than 1 campus, but that counts towards your 3 program choices at Western. Okay, now that we know a little bit more about applying, when should you apply? The application's open right now, so if you know what you want to apply for and you have your PIN, you're ready to go. The deadline to apply for 101 applicants is January 15th. The exception is nursing, which has a different deadline, February 15th. Okay, so to recap, you will apply to Western on the OUAC website by creating an account. You can choose up to 3 faculties or programs, and your deadline to apply is January 15th, 2021. Now, what happens after you apply? A couple of days after you apply, you'll get an email from Western to say thanks for applying. Think of this email like a receipt. We're confirming we received your application from the OUAC. We're then going to set you up with a Western student number. This takes us a few days, but then you'll get a second email. It gives you instructions for your next steps, which includes activating your Western identity. This gives you access to Student Center, and it's very important that you log into your Student Center. Your Student Center is where you can see your application status. When you apply, it will say, applied. It may say incomplete with a yellow triangle if we're missing information, but in many cases, it will not. If you receive an offer, it will say admitted. If you accept an offer, it will say accepted. You'll also see your to-do list. You might have items on your to-do list, but the majority of you will not have any items on here. That's because we receive your high school grades through the OUAC website. Your high school submits them there, so you don't have to worry about grades unless you're taking courses at another school that isn't your regular day school. If you do have items on your to-do list, the best way to see the whole list is to choose See Details. And here's what that could look like. This list has everything we might need in order to assess your application. Every item has detailed instructions for how to send it to us. For example, some documents will need to be uploaded directly to Student Center. When an item is added to your list, it will say missing. So when you first log in, if there is anything on your list, it will most likely say missing. If you upload the item, it will say pending. If an admissions officer has taken a look at the item and confirmed it's what we need, it will say received. The items never disappear from your list, but if it says received, then you don't have to take any other action. And now it's time for you to wait and find out if you receive an offer. So let's talk about offers of admission. We will have offer rounds between December and May. This year, it is quite unique. School boards across Ontario are doing different semester systems. Maybe your school is a quadmester or an octomester. So, although your final admission average will be based on your best 6 grade 12 U or M level courses, including prerequisites for the program, you likely won't have that when we start to make offers in December. We can make offers based on very high grade 11 marks and a combination of grade 11 and grade 12 marks, whatever is available at the time of each offer round. It's important that we are able to see that you are enrolled in the prerequisite courses for the program you are applying to. But it doesn't have to be completed in order for you to receive an offer. So here are 2 important things to remember. We will review your application with every single round. If we get your application in November, and when we do a round of offers in December, your grades don't meet what we're looking for, no problem. We'll check again the next round. When we look at you, we don't look at you only one time and then deny you. We will continue reviewing your application until the end of May. It's more important than ever before that your course enrollment information is up to date. This means the OUAC is showing what courses you have taken and accurately shows which courses you will be taking. Some of you may have a prerequisite course for a program you're applying to, and you're not starting that course until very late into the school year. And we're here to tell you that that is totally okay, but we need to see that you are enrolled in it. It's also important that if you are planning on taking a course at a school that isn't your regular day school, you make sure that information is also updated and accurate on the OUAC. That is your responsibility. Okay, recap time. After you apply to Western, you will log into Student Center. You'll check your admission status and to-do list, and you'll submit required documents if there are any, and then wait for your application to be reviewed. Okay, so let's say you guys are all great and brilliant, and you all receive an offer of admissions. Congratulations. The first thing you'll do is log into your offer portal. This is choose.uwo.ca. Don't worry, we'll send you a link if you receive an offer. This portal has everything you need to know about your offer. It's important that you log in because we will not send you anything in the mail. In the portal, you can start looking into things like housing, your finances, and courses. But most importantly, it has a tile for your admission conditions. Most offers are conditional, and the offer of admission letter will outline what your conditions are. In many cases, this means that you need to complete your diploma and keep your grades up. Your offer portal will outline your admission conditions in a tile, and it will outline how to submit your documents. If you receive an offer to Western, there is a very important step that you need to take, and that's accepting your offer. You'll accept your offer the same way you applied, through the OUAC website. There are a few steps you need to follow, and you have to make sure you review and confirm and submit a few times. But in the end, if you've submitted it all correctly, the OUAC will send you a confirmation number, and that's how you know that you did it right. It will take a couple days before you see a change on your offer portal and on your student center, but if you got the confirmation email from the OUAC, you should be good to go. It's very important that you accept your offer before your deadline. If you don't, we don't like talking about this, but you could lose your offer. Most 101 applicants will have a deadline of June 1st, but you might have a different deadline than someone else, so be sure to check for yourself. You'll be able to find your deadline to accept in your offer portal and in all of your letters. Okay, final recap time. If you haven't done so yet, you might want to take a screenshot of this slide so you can reference it later. When you're preparing to apply, you'll review the admission requirements. You'll check out the English language proficiency requirement, and you'll see if there are any supplemental forms necessary for your program. When it's time to apply, You'll go to the OUAC website and create an account. You'll choose up to 3 faculties or programs, and your deadline to apply is January 15th. After you apply, you will log into Student Center, check your application status and to-do list, and you'll submit required documents and then wait for your application to be reviewed. And then after you receive an offer, you'll log into your offer portal. Be sure to understand all admission conditions, accept your offer before your deadline, and submit any final documents. Alrighty. Well, we hope that this was helpful for you and that you understand more about the application process. If you have any questions, you can email us at welcome.uwo.ca, or you can send us a DM on Instagram. So at this time, we're going to go through a few questions that have come in. If you don't wish to stay for the question and answer period, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck on your journey to university.